The graduation address gives us the opportunity to hear from a distinguished member of our alumni community. And we're very fortunate today that the address will be delivered by Ms. Anna Skarbek. Ms. Skarbek is the Chief Executive Officer of ClimateWorks Australia. Since its inception in 2009, she's guided the body's independent research and advisory work. She brings considerable private and public sector knowledge to the role as an experienced non-executive director, investment banker, policy advisor, and lawyer. Notable appointments throughout her career include as Vice President of Advisory at Climate Change Capital in London and Senior Policy Advisor to the Victorian Deputy Premier and Minister for Environment, Water and Climate Change. Ms. Skarbek has held numerous board positions alongside her executive career, including previous appointments to the board of Amnesty International Australia, The Big Issue Australia and the Linking Melbourne Authority. She presently serves as a Director of the Centre for New Energy Technologies, the Green Building Council Australia and the Sustainable Melbourne Fund. Additionally, she is a member of the Wentworth Group of Concerned Scientists and of the Grattan Institute's Energy Program Reference Panel, as well as the Australian Government's National Environmental Economic Accounting Scientific Advisory Panel. For all those reasons, I now have much pleasure in inviting Ms. Anna Skarbek to deliver today's graduation address.
Chancellor Simon McKeon, Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Vice-President Global Engagement Professor Abid Khan, Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Business and Economics Professor Russell Smythe, members of the faculty, ladies and gentlemen and proud parents and families, and especially to the new graduates. Congratulations to all of you who have graduated today. Like you, I sat in this Robert Blackwood Hall graduating from this Faculty of Business and Economics 22 years ago, receiving my Bachelor of Commerce with honours in finance and my law degree 2 years later in this hall again. Many of my Monash friends are still my closest friends today. Many of them have given me career advice and support along the way, and now here I am being asked to share some advice with you as you embark on your careers. My most commonly given advice is to follow your strengths. It's when we shine. You all have skills, and in my view, your strengths are the sum of your skills plus your interests. Interests are the issues that drive you, the areas in the world you'd like to improve. And your era has the benefit of the Global Sustainable Development Goals setting out clearly what all nations have agreed needs improving. I'll come back to those. I've also learned the value of finding balance for personal health and for professional diversity. And someone on this stage today helped illustrate this very early in my career, and that it is welcomed even when it may not appear directly work-related. When I joined Macquarie Bank as a graduate, I still held a voluntary role with Amnesty International that I had started here at uni. Initially, I thought I should keep this interest separate from my work. Yet, the then chairman of Macquarie's Melbourne office, our very own Chancellor here today, Simon McKeon, encouraged me to talk with him about it in the office, as he was also on the board of World Vision back then. And soon we had a connection beyond our formal roles at work, a connection that continues to this day. Balance is essential for good performance. Neuroscientists are reminding this as it seems increasingly hard to achieve in this hyper-connected, fast-paced era today. And balance is also essential for teams. Diversity in teams improve outcomes, and innovation happens at the intersection of disciplines. Now, more than ever, it is essential to balance profit, people, and planet. With a balanced mindset in business, your generation of leaders can avoid the pitfalls of current and previous generations. I have learned that by being true to your interest areas where you want to see positive impact and making your interests known, you can make the change you want to see. and turn this into a career. Chasing the cause works better than chasing the job. The jobs emerged when you're focused on a higher cause. When I joined Macquarie Bank as a graduate back then, I made my environmental interests known. A little bit unusual back then at the start of this century there. And soon after, I was invited to participate in the team advising the first water recycling infrastructure being developed in this state. And then this led me to being offered a job advising the Minister for Water, via a Monash friend's suggestion, incidentally, a job which I might never have got from my business pathway if not for the experience I'd gained on those Macquarie water projects. Then, that water minister also became climate change minister, and soon I was part of the team designing the first version of Australia's emissions trading scheme. And then, via another Monash friend who knew of my interests, I was introduced to the first climate change specialist investment bank, opening in London. So I moved there to work in it, drawing on my business skills again. Then, when I was ready to come home, that minister had come to Monash and was establishing ClimateWorks, and I was asked to become its CEO, where I now run an award-winning team advising governments and businesses, employing staff here and in Jakarta. I realise in hindsight that by letting my impact interests guide my job decisions, I had built a cohesive career and an enjoyable, meaningful one. I couldn't have known these steps from the start because most of the roles I've held did not exist when I was at uni and sat where you sit today. There was, however, a Monash connection throughout, you may have noticed. Now, your generation is being told that most of the jobs, up to 80% of the jobs you will go on to, don't even exist yet. You can design your own paths. A Monash degree is a passport to a new future. The world is yours to explore and to contribute to. And importantly, the world is yours to nurture. This planet we all share, and which holds your future in its hands, needs urgent care. When I graduated, it was into the old fossil fuel economy. You're entering a new economy, which will be carbon constrained and needs to be decarbonised. You are graduating at the beginning of what is now being called the transformational decade. This is because in the next decade, by 2030, carbon emissions need to halve, and halve again by 2040, to reach net zero emissions by 2050, the time most of you will be not much older than me. The physical risks of climate change are now serious concerns for financial market regulators and investors. This is the last decade we have to turn emissions around before we cause so much global warming that we'll destroy coral reefs forever, risk many Asian coastal cities and Pacific islands to rising sea level inundation, and expose us all to reduced food security, health impacts, bushfires, extreme weather and species loss. Transformational change is needed and is possible. Because fortunately, this is also the decade in which the need and the tools for addressing climate change are much better understood, and that they create opportunities as well as avoid risks. While the world's nations are still refining the processes for how they will take the necessary actions for this, already many national and subnational governments, businesses and institutions are committing to be net zero emissions themselves. And the Sustainable Development Goals help define what a better world looks like. Those Sustainable Development Goals include no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, reducing inequality, sustainable cities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice and strong institutions and partnerships. What a great menu to apply your life to. The United Nations has written these into 17 interconnected goals and agreed to achieve them all by 2030, a shared goal between governments and businesses and communities. 2030. That is the first 10 years of your careers. The solutions to these challenges are exciting and demand new ways of thinking and doing business. Examples abound, including right here at Monash with the Net Zero initiative. Monash was the first Australian university to announce a net zero by 2030 target and is successfully implementing it right now. In its first 2 years, Monash is on track to a 40% emission reduction on 2015 levels by next year, which were otherwise would have continued to be rising. Monash has also completed 30,000 LED lighting upgrades, installed electric vehicle chargers and over 4,000 solar panels, and built 2 all-electric net zero ready buildings with 2 more under construction. Monash will have a microgrid up and running next year and will provide a model for this, for how to power a sustainable and reliable electricity network and maximise value for customers. And the Monash team is now beginning to turn its focus to its supply chain beyond its campus and global operations, and the influence that it can have in helping others on a net zero journey. And Monash is using a living laboratory research and education platform to help translate new knowledge into regulatory advice and development of commercial business models, and to develop the net zero leaders of tomorrow. So when you, as Monash graduates, are offered jobs, ask your prospective employers, do they have a net zero emission strategy? And if not, you can choose elsewhere, or help them create one. And wherever you work, please look for ways to apply your skills to these great sustainable development challenges of our time. From that wonderful menu of 17 sustainable development goals, choose the ones you care about most and make it the thread of your career. There is no limit to how you can apply your skills and career to addressing those SDGs. It will take a very wide spectrum of skills. And it will hone the skills and knowledge you will need anyway for the new economy: system change thinking, interdisciplinary collaboration, mission-led innovation. All it takes is to pay attention to what matters. The consequences are high when you don't. Just last month, a big bank CEO and chairman in this country lost their jobs for not paying attention to what mattered when it came to ensuring their financial products and services were not supporting money laundering for child abuse. Society knows what good looks like and is increasingly making that visible. Your generation will be in the era of ultra-transparency on all this. And yet, it feels good to work on what matters. You have been equipped by this faculty, as I was, to navigate uncertainty and to not only find solutions to complex problems, but to lead others through them. You all have your own special skills, and whatever your discipline from this faculty, whether it be finance, economics, marketing, accounting, management, data, consumer design, and so much more, all of this can be applied to addressing the Sustainable Development Goals and climate change. We need all hands on deck in this transformational decade, and you can make your business skills match what the future sustainable economy needs. I'll end by quoting Paul Hawken, author of New York Times bestseller Climate Solutions book, Drawdown. He says, and I agree, "You are brilliant and Earth is hiring." Thank you, Chancellor.